Okay, so we've got someone suing over copyright rejection of their AI art, and others are suing 3 major AI art generators for holding copies of their original pieces. Let's check it out. Okay, so we've got an article here by artnews.com. Artist sues over copyright rejection for award-winning artwork generated by AI. So, there's this artist named Jason M. Allen. He requested that a Colorado federal court reverse a U.S. Copyright Office decision to reject copyright protection for an award-winning image he made using AI. And I remember this artist and his story kind of coming to light a while back. So he made this art piece. He submitted it as an original piece. It won this state award. And then afterwards, he revealed that it was an AI image. And I believe that the award was even rescinded. I'm not sure about that. I don't have that detail in front of me, but I believe it was rescinded. Either way, though, it was definitely kind of a shady thing to do, right? He submitted it as his original work of art that he manually created and then revealed later, actually, I just used AI generation. So, in the lawsuit, Allen claims that he should receive copyright for his piece, Théâtre d'Opéra Spatiale, as an expression of his creativity. He applied for a copyright registration for the work depicting a futuristic royal court, which won the state's art fair competition in 2022. Okay, so it was 2 years ago. Allen has said in a statement that the Copyright Office's decision put me in a terrible position with no recourse against others who are blatantly and repeatedly stealing my work. So this, beautiful, beautiful irony here. Beautiful irony and hypocrisy. It's hilarious that he's suing to try and reject this previous decision about copyright protection to have his piece secured when he used AI generation, which these tools of AI generation, AI image generation, are using databases of images without licensing, right? So people's work is being used unfairly, right, without them getting credit to create his piece, and then he is complaining, I don't have protection against people blatantly and repeatedly stealing my work. Stealing my work. That's just hilarious to me because he did no work. I mean, unless you include the minimal effort and brain power required to type some words into a prompt. And then, you know, the AI generation does all of the work for you. And even then, the work of the AI generation is just, hey, let me piece together images that we have in my database that are unlicensed images of other artists that are not getting credit or payment for the use of these images. Pretty rich that this guy's complaining about not being able to protect his work. Okay, so he created the artwork using the generative AI system Midjourney. Okay, so I wasn't sure if he used Stable Diffusion or Midjourney, so now we have it. He used Midjourney, wherein he tested hundreds of prompt iterations and subsequently made changes with Adobe Photoshop. So that is a little bit more, right? We have a little bit more of a case, I guess you could say, because he used Photoshop to make adjustments. Now, he doesn't go into detail here about how much of an adjustment was made. Like, you could have literally done a little bit of a contrast change in Photoshop and said, hey, I used Photoshop to, you know, make changes, and so therefore it is my own piece. You know, a slight contrast change, I would argue, is not significant enough of a change from the original AI generation to say, you know, I used this as my inspiration and then I made changes to make it my own. I don't think so. I don't think that's enough to say that it's an original creation because of how much effort and changes he put into it. So anyway, when he refused to disclaim the parts of the image generated by Midjourney, however, the office rejected Allen's application. So okay, he's telling without telling, right? He's telling on himself without telling. Anytime you are withholding information is the same as being dishonest, right? You're not being forthright with everything that you know or everything that you have, all the information that you have about the situation that you're speaking to, or in this case, you know, complaining about, or, you know, trying to get protections for. So it's just interesting that he's kind of self-reporting here with the refusal to share all of the information that he has, right? Of what was actually generated by Midjourney. So it's immediately sketchy. He's immediately just taken himself and let me just drop myself down into the sketchy category here. And I think it's totally right that they rejected his application because he didn't put forth everything that he was supposed to for this application. And he was acting sketchy. He was, not disclosing all of the relevant information. So the decision was affirmed by a Copyright Office tribunal last year as the image was found to contain too much AI-generated material to be copyrightable. And if we just go back up and look at this, I mean, yeah, just look at it. AI-generated art still kind of has there's like an iconic look to it, a very recognizable trait of AI art, right? You can kind of tell, even if we're not talking about the fingers issue that is kind of going away now. They're getting better at that. But still, all AI art kind of has this look, maybe like an over-polished or too smooth look to certain things, something like that. And this definitely has that look. Just look at the flooring here, the ground of it, the bleed that doesn't look like brush strokes. It just looks too smoothed and too, I don't know, something about it. There is definitely that AI art look, and this has that, definitely. And so that, to me, I mean, I agree, because, saying it contains too much AI-generated material. I mean, if I look at this, the whole thing looks to be AI-generated. It doesn't look like he made any manual adjustments, except for maybe like an overall image, like contrast change or saturation change or something that he did himself, like he said in Photoshop. But that is minimal. The brunt of the work and, creation here was done by Midjourney. Okay, and we move on here. So Mr. Allen had a specific artistic idea conceived of in his mind, and he used Midjourney as a tool to create an artistic expression of that idea, the lawsuit said. Such creative input is on par with that expressed by other types of artists and is capable of copyright protection. I do not think so. I do not think so at all. I think he put in some prompts. The AI art generation tool Midjourney did all of the work, and it did that work based on other people's art that is not properly licensed, most likely. And there is another article that we're going to be looking at in a bit here that kind of goes into that. And then this goes on here, this article, this is hardly the first time an artist working with AI has been denied copyright protection. The same office, for example, also rejected an application for an image that computer scientist Stephen Thaler created autonomously with his AI system. So, I think this is great. We are setting good precedents here. Please, 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 please continue to deny all of these copyright protection applications for anybody making AI-generated images. No, you do not deserve copyright protections for using a system that has a database full of unlicensed images that they are pulling from to create your work. This is just, it's bad. It's so bad. Such a bad precedent to set if we ever allow any of these to be copyright protected. No. We need to protect our artists. We need to protect their artwork. In my opinion, there needs to be some sort of law put in place where, okay, all AI art needs to be classified as such. Anybody who produces AI art, it has to be clearly labeled as such in the title of their piece, in some sort of subtext of their piece, something like that. Like required by law, anywhere that you post it, anywhere that you display it publicly. And if it is not and is found to be AI art generated, you are fined. So this other article here, theartnewspaper.com, U.S. artists score victory in landmark AI copyright case. Okay, and so this case is alleging that these companies, Stability AI, Midjourney, and DeviantArt, and Runaway AI, were violating artists' rights by illegally storing their works in their image generation systems. So illegally storing, meaning these pieces are in their databases unlicensed, right? And so this is kind of referencing that last article I mentioned that Midjourney was doing that. And so this is kind of going into that even further. There is a case against these companies for that reason. And so this case has been attempted to be dismissed. It was kind of dismissed. And then apparently in May, Judge Orrick, presiding over this case, decided in a tentative ruling to allow the copyright allegations to continue. So this is huge. I hope this makes it all the way. I hope they are able to fully complete their suit or their lawsuit of these companies. And I hope that the companies in question, I hope all AI generation, like art generation companies, are held to a higher standard. I hope there's laws put in place so that they have to license any art that is being put into their art databases that these tools are pulling from. And I want to take this a step further and say that any company that plans to use AI art in any of their media, whether it be traditional movies or video games or anything, that they should be required to have at least, let's say, 2 or 3 significant iterations upon the AI generated art piece that they use as reference. Significant iterations, right? To where, let's say, 50% or more is changed from the original AI art generation to the piece that they actually use in their media. To protect artists' jobs, to protect the integrity of art itself. It's just kind of crazy to me that as a species, we've become so obsessed with convenience and technology that we are willing to just do away with the integrity of art, something that has always been such a creative pursuit that people had to devote themselves to for their lives, their entire lives, to become masters of this craft. And then in a minute, we can have, or less than a minute, we can have some crazy detailed piece generated for us by an AI generation system that is pulling from other art that other masters of their craft have created, and they're getting no credit, no payment for the use of these art pieces or the sale of these art pieces. It's a really slippery slope, a really dangerous road to go down, to let art kind of become this ruled thing by AI. I really think we need to put more protections in place, and I think we just really need to protect our artists and all of the actual authentic human-made art out there. But anyway, guys, that's all I've got on this one. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.